Hey everybody, Sarah at Nova again. So this week we're actually following up on a reel we did, a very short reel we did a couple weeks ago on Instagram. 11 seconds that caused a bunch of controversy where we talked about putting car tires on a motorcycle. We don't think it's a good idea. It's called dark siding, and we thought it was fairly universally, a lot of people wouldn't think it's a great idea. Little did we know, comment section of that reel lit up, and we've had fun going back and forth with people and explaining why we don't think it's a good idea. But it all started with this machine here, this beautiful Valkyrie, which clearly has seen a little bit of love, or neglect, lack of love. We've been giving it some attention to get it back in order. It's a great bike. It's worth saving, but it came in here and it had this monstrosity on it, which is a relatively budget car tire. Nothing about this tire says motorcycle to me. And beyond that, once we took it off, we saw it was full of slime. A lot of sins going on this thing. So whoever had this bike before, should hopefully do some penance, because they've got multiple things to atone for. And the new owner is going to take care of it. But we just wanted to get into a little more detail of exactly why this is such a bad idea, because a lot of people are like, no, it's fine. I've been doing it. I've been getting away with it. It's fine. I know people who've done it. And they're right. Some people do get away with it. Yes, they do. And they're also, the main reason why people are doing it is because you can get a ton more mileage out of these things. People say they get 80,000 miles out of their tire. And if you've ever had a big cruiser like this, you know you're lucky to get 15,000 miles. And those tires are $400 now. And this tire is, $70 at Walmart. So I can understand why somebody might want to do it. But there's some key reasons not to. The most obvious is that it's just the wrong shape. I mean, look at this thing. It's flat. It's not meant to do this. Now, there's a great video out there by Fortnite. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably seen that. If you haven't, go check it out. He goes into it pretty thoroughly, and he gives a very open mind, gives a lot of good data on it. And he does make a point that the tire does mush when you're leaned over. So you do kind of spread this contact patch out here, and it does, you're not riding all on your sidewall. But I think that you are going to end up on your sidewall sooner than later, especially if you get into some of the extreme lean angles that you would need if you're having fun or in an emergency situation on a motorcycle. And secondly, these car tires are meant to take their forces in this direction. They're not meant to take their forces like this. For demonstration purposes here, we have a motorcycle tire. Yay! This is meant to do a lot of stuff. It's meant to lean and keep a really solid contact patch on the ground down here. But it's also meant to be leaned over and act as your suspension. So the belting inside, the overall design of the tire is meant to do a lot of work in this position, where a car tire is not meant to do that. So if you're leaned over and you hit a bump, this will help you take it up. Whereas on the car tire, if you're leaned over fully and you hit a bump, there's not a lot of extra that it's going to do. It may completely deform completely, giving you complete loss of stability, or it may not do anything at all, which could then cause you to lose traction. So that's one of the design differences. It's just not the same. The other main thing, which is a huge safety thing for me and for anybody who would care, is that they don't fit. People say, oh, it fits fine, it beads up, it's no problem. It does not fit, and I'm going to tell you why. So here's our motorcycle rim for demonstrations. On a tubeless tire, you have to have this rim, this edge here. The difference between a tubed and a tubeless tire rim, other than the sealing, is that this is meant to hold the bead of the tire in. And the bead of your tire, which is your edge here, on the edge of the tire here, that literally snaps into this position. And so that if you get a low air situation, that it won't be able to move very easily off of the edge of the rim and completely come free. So when everything is fine, air is doing the work of holding your tire on. But in certain situations, when you get a lot of side forces or you have low pressure, something like that, it can easily slide off and you can completely come off your rim, and then that's a catastrophic failure. You're not having a good day if that happens. So you'll notice here that the bead here on this is about 1/2 inch. And the tire, the corresponding tire measurement, is a little bit less than that. It's a little, little under 1/2 inch, which means it has plenty of room to fit in here, snap in, pop in, and stay there with air pressure in there, it'll hold it in. Now this tire bead, excuse me, the car tire is over 3/4 of an inch. So that gives more, well, actually, depending on how you get your calipers on there, let's call it 3/4 of an inch. That is more than 1/4 inch bigger than this, than the motorcycle rim. And you can see on this rim here, this edge, the slime in the tire gives us a little handy dandy marker. But this line is the edge of the bead on the motorcycle rim. So this edge was supposed to be inside that line. It's not. It's just sitting on top of it. So it's doing zero work as far as being an extra safety measure for holding the tire on. And because this tire is so big, there's going to be a lot more force trying to peel this tire off when it's leaned over. So it's really, it's not doing what it's supposed to do. And that to me is a huge safety thing. One of the comments we had from a lot of people is that, if this was so bad, we would have heard of a lot of accidents about it and stuff like that. But the fact is, insurance companies don't really know this is happening, so they don't even know to look for it. So when an accident happens, nobody's checking the tire to see what kind of tire it was. So there's no way to know what data was about, how many people are using these and if this is the cause of it. Hopefully, as this becomes more and more of a thing, or hopefully it won't become more and more of a thing, but if it does and people continue to do it, hopefully that data will start to be collected, because it's definitely going to be an issue in loss of control situations. We have a single motorcycle accident where somebody, maybe you have to evade something and you just can't. So I'm going to circle back to, before I even looked into this, I always thought that's a terrible idea, mostly because of the loss of handling. This is a big fat tire, a huge, contact patch when it's going straight, less of a contact patch when it's leaned. But its ability to turn and its desire to turn quickly is gone. Whereas on a motorcycle, you have a hopefully balanced contact patch, which is enough grip to keep you on the ground, but not in so much grip that it resists turning. And we like to think our motorcycles can do almost anything. We like to think they can stop fast, they can go fast, they can turn on the dime and that kind of thing. But the reality is the motorcycle cannot stop as fast as a car. We don't have the braking ability. We don't have the big contact patch. So our number one safety factor is our ability to evade things and to handle things quickly and carefully, and to get out of the way when something happens. This is going to stop you from doing that. So I have a feeling that the kind of people who are saying this is okay are the kind of people who also say they had to lay their bike down, which is really not an acceptable choice of any kind of motorcycling thing, unless you actually fall off. You should try to ride out of situations. You should try to avoid situations first and foremost. So yeah. If you have thoughts about this, we'd love to know. If you have thoughts about why we're saying it's wrong, we'd love to know. If you want to do it anyway, more power to you. But all we ask is that you don't go telling people that it's just fine, because these are the reasons why it's not fine. So this bike, which is, when it leaves here, is going to be nice and shiny, and it already runs like a dream. Now has a new rear tire on it. You can see a beautiful Avon Cobra Chrome, nice and round, lots of contact, nice stiff sidewall where it's supposed to be. And if this thing gets aired up, it'll last this guy, 15,000 miles. And those will be good, safe miles. And when it's time to wear it out, you put on a new one. And that's kind of the price of having a motorcycle. So anyway, those are our thoughts on dark siding or putting car tires on motorcycles. We don't like it. Chime in, let us know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe, even if you hated our opinion in this video.